Okay, so picking up where we left off, we are now going to move on to rule number 4. So we should have rule number 1, 2, and 3 filled out in our notes. We should have the video column filled out and the example column filled out. So our fourth rule is lists. So whenever we're talking about commas and we're listing 3 things or more, you want to make sure that you have a comma to separate each of your items. So the sentence I have below is, I bought scorpion and spider killer, a bug vacuum, and a broom with a 10-foot long handle. So I'm listing 3 or more items, therefore I'm putting a comma between every item mentioned. As you can see, I have a comma here between my scorpion and spider killer, another comma after a bug vacuum, and it's going to come before my and then my third thing is not needed for a comma. I'm just going to make sure that I have my first 2 in place. Okay, and this is just going to work for a list for commas. So what I want you to do is write down our example in your notes. Make sure that you're following the same format as you did for the last 3 rules. You want to make sure that you're also proving it and writing down the reason as to why we're using the comma by writing list in parentheses and highlighting it along with the comma itself. Okay? Now I want you to go ahead and try and come up with an example on your own. So write an example where you're listing 3 or more items in the same box in the first column for rule number 4. Okay, once you've done that, we're going to move on to rule number 5, which is dialogue. Now, whenever we're going to be separating the speaker from the direct words, we will need a comma. Okay, so as you can see here, it says, Miss Renfro emphasized, no spiders living in my classroom. As you can see, I have the comma separating the direct words that I'm saying out loud. Okay, so it's going to kind of act as a barrier between them. My other example says, step on any spiders you see, instructed Miss Renfro. So now it's going to be a little bit reversed. So rather than having the comma come first with the person or speaker, you're going to have the direct words first, or the phrase first, and then you're going to be instructed on who the speaker is. Okay? But you just want to keep in mind, your comma is always, always, always before the quotation mark, no matter the order. Okay? It's always before the quotation marks. Keep that in mind. So I want you to write down one of my examples in your box, and then I want you to come up with one of your own. Okay? Make sure it's appropriate and make sure that you're using dialogue and correct commas to show the difference between the speaker and the direct words. Now once you've done that, I'd like for you to go ahead and click over in the blend space to the videos. You have 2 videos to watch, and I want you to make sure that you are writing down examples from both videos in the correct column for each. Okay, so you want to write down as many examples as you've seen from the videos in the second column for each rule, for rule number 4 and rule number 5.